botanical garden
is a
encompasses
botanical
250
garden, and there is an announcement
and is
also
home
going
to more
on.
than 1 million living plants. It is one of the foremost gardens in the world and was named a National Historic Landmark in 1967. Just up the hill on Side B, past the large rock outcropping, is the Rock Garden. It's home to an incredible selection of unusual flowers and plants from around the world that are grown in, around, and on rocks, including some of the smallest plants in the botanical garden. On Side A, you'll see a collection of pines and other cone-bearing plants. That's the Arthur and Janet Ross Conifer Arboretum. There are more than 1,000 pines, spruces, firs, and other conifers in this collection, including many venerable trees planted in the 1890s, right after the garden was established.
Beyond the conifers lies the Botanical Garden's crown jewel, the Enid A. Haupt Conservatory, completed in 1902. Inside, you can explore an acre under glass, a journey that takes you from tropical rainforest habitats to dry deserts. Filled with thousands of plants, it is an absolute wonder and the anchor for the garden's exhibition program.
Ahead, at the top of the hill, is the LuEsther T. Mertz Library building, completed in 1901. In front is the Lillian Goldman Fountain of Life, which was inspired by the Baroque fountains of Rome.
The Mertz Library is home to more than 11 million items. The oldest is a manuscript from 1190. We also have field notebooks from botanists who went to uncharted regions in search of rare and new species. It's the largest and most active botanical and horticultural library in the world. While scientists from across the globe come to do research here, the library is open to everyone. It's a great place to learn more about what you see here at the garden. The library's art gallery hosts several exhibitions each year, which explore the deep connections between gardening and the humanities. You can also visit the science exhibitions in this building to learn more about the work of our cutting-edge researchers.
As we head toward the main road, take a minute to appreciate the tulip tree allée.
Allée is French for a tree-lined walk.
These are tulip trees, named for the green and yellow springtime flowers that resemble tulips. This memorable planting was named a New York City landmark in 2009, along with the library building and Fountain of Life. According to garden lore, the tulip trees planted here came from a single mother tree, which is the largest tree in the LA, and is just one of the thousands of trees across the landscape that are older than the garden itself.
The rest of the tulip trees were planted in 1905 under the direction of the garden's founding director, botanist and taxonomist Nathaniel Lord Britton.
Britton and his wife, Elizabeth Knight Britton, herself a distinguished botanist, were leaders of the movement to create a grand botanical garden in New York City in the late 19th century. While on their honeymoon in London in 1888, they visited the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew. What they saw inspired them to lobby elected officials and civic leaders to create a public garden dedicated to science, education, and horticulture in New York.
The Britons were successful, and in 1891, the New York State Legislature incorporated the New York Botanical Garden. Soon after, the couple selected this site, which featured a 50-acre old-growth forest surrounded by fields and pastures. In 1895, landscape architect Calvert Vaux, co-designer of Manhattan Central Park, created a master plan for the garden to allow for the planting of beautiful and diverse collections, while preserving the natural beauty of the landscape.
More than 125 years after its founding, the garden's staff remain dedicated to preserving the natural and horticultural beauty of the landscape. They care for thousands of mature trees, plant hundreds of thousands of bulbs, annuals, and perennials, mow 75 acres of turf, and clip a mile of hedges to maintain this green oasis in the middle of New York City.
The garden is also a center for research and home to scientists and graduate students who are working to understand plant diversity and save the plants of the world. As they travel the globe, they might be collaborating with local partners in Brazil to preserve the rainforest, or recording the medicinal uses of plants in the South Pacific. Closer to home, they document native plant species in the Hudson Valley and Central Park. NYBG scientists have written hundreds of books, from field references to a handbook of poisonous plants used in hospital emergency rooms.
Many Many of our scientists work in the garden's Pfizer Plant Research Laboratory and the William and Lynda Steere Herbarium. The Steere Herbarium is the second largest herbarium in the world. It houses approximately 8 million dried, pressed plant specimens, including some dating to the 1700s, which are used by scientists to identify new species and document where plants grow. On Side A, this area is called Twin Lakes. A century ago, people used to flock here to swim in summer and ice skate in winter. Today, birds flock here, especially water birds and seasonally migrating species. On Saturday mornings, you can join free bird watching tours. Garden visitors have spotted more than 200 species.
We're about to cross the Bronx River, originating in Westchester County and extending 23 miles to the East River. It is the city's only freshwater river. Once lined with factories and mills, it became very polluted. Now, thanks to the efforts of conservation organizations, the river is cleaner than it has been in centuries, and is once again home to a wonderful array of wildlife, from beavers to American eels.
Just downstream from here, the Bronx River cuts a dramatic gorge through the 50-acre Thane family forest, the largest surviving stand of uncut first-growth forest in New York City. Since its founding, the garden has preserved the forest in its natural state. But over the centuries, it has suffered from the impacts of human activity and invasive non-native species. To ensure the forest remains healthy, the garden has implemented a program of ecological restoration.
We're approaching our next stop, in the Magnolia Collection. This is one of the oldest plant collections in the garden. The first trees were planted here in the early 1900s. When they flower in early spring, the magnolias create an unforgettable spectacle. The Magnolia Collection is just one of many tree collections in the garden. More than 30,000 trees, ranging from centuries-old titans to newly planted saplings, grow across the landscape. We're now passing through the oak collection, which includes oaks from Europe, Asia, and North America. Oaks are among the most economically and ecologically important trees in the world. The wood is used to build fine furniture and wine casks. Deer, chipmunks, rabbits, squirrels, and many other mammals feast on the acorns. The leaves are an important source of food for the caterpillars and other insects that in turn are consumed by the many birds found in the garden.
The living plant collections serve the garden's mission as a museum of plants. Scientists and students use these collections to learn about the diversity and adaptability of the plant kingdom. Gardeners can visit throughout the year and observe how different species and cultivated varieties change with the seasons. Our curators constantly evaluate the collections and search out interesting new varieties to add.
We are just about to pass the green zone at the top of the hill on Side A. That's the home of the Green Materials Recycling Center. Funded by generous public and private donors, it's where we compost all the leaves, grass clippings, spent flowers, and other material generated as we care for the garden. We use the compost we create to improve our soil and feed our plants, which helps to reduce the amount of chemical fertilizers needed to help our plants thrive. On the same hill on Side A is the East Gate. This area, which is made accessible by the Ann Hubbard Bridge, was completely redesigned in 2017. It now provides improved daytime access to the garden for our neighbors and visitors who arrive there by sleigh.
We're coming up to our next stop, the Edible Academy. This unique place was completed in 2018 and brings together the Ruth Ray Howell Family Garden, which has been located on this site for more than 30 years, with new year-round facilities that offer life-changing programs for local children and their families. It's a place where kids can dig in the soil, play with worms, learn what it takes to make a garden thrive, and maybe even want to eat their vegetables. Cooking demonstrations offer plenty of nutritious fun for adults and kids alike. who made his fortune in the tobacco industry. Several historic buildings from the Lorillard estate remain today, including the large stone stable on Side A and the nearby gatehouse, as well as the stone mill.
On Side B is the cherry collection. Be sure to visit in early April when the trees transform the valley with fluffy clouds of pink and white.
On the other side of the road is the Byrne family lilac collection, which was completely restored in 2016. In late April, this whole area becomes a sea of color, from white and pale blue to lavender and deep dark purple, and the fragrance is incredible.
Just past the lilac collection is the award-winning Peggy Rockefeller Rose Garden.
Hop off here and you can wander through the nearly 4,000 roses, ranging from heirloom varieties cherished by French Empress Josephine to modern selections chosen for their beauty, fragrance, and disease resistance. The roses begin flowering in late May, peaking in June and September. In some years, we have even had roses blooming in early December. By pioneering landscape architect Beatrix Ferrand, a leader in her profession in the early 20th century. Ferrand's vision for the site wasn't fully realized until 1988, when David Rockefeller helped NYBG complete this garden in honor of his wife, Peggy, who loved roses.
As the road curves, you can see the Judy and Michael Steinhardt maple collection. Here, native maples grow alongside unusual varieties of Japanese maple. These trees are beautiful year-round, from the emergence of leaves in spring to the red and golden foliage of fall. In the same area, the Dolores Stefina Hope Tree Peony collection features a wonderful planting of herbaceous and tree peonies that flower in early May.
These pavilions mark the entry point to one of the country's greatest collections of rare and unusual garden conifers.
Designed in the late 1940s by noted landscape architect Marion Coffin, this collection was completely restored in 2004.
Conifers are plants that hold their seeds in cones, like the familiar pine cone, used in winter holiday decorations. The Benenson Ornamental Conifer Collection includes plants with multicolored foliage, others with weeping forms, and compact and slow-growing varieties. This part of the garden is welcoming no matter the season, from the vibrant greens of spring and summer to the earth tones of autumn, to a white blanket of winter snow.
Ahead, where the paths intersect on Side A, look for a snake branch spruce, named for the long, slender branchlets that hang straight down from the main branches.
Right across the road, you'll find shade-tolerant dwarf conifers. Dwarf conifers grow very slowly. Some grow less than an inch a year, and can take decades to grow only a few feet tall, making them a great choice for any gardener without a lot of space.
Around the upcoming bend, we will pass a short, compact tree with dense blue-green needles on Side A. That is the R.H. Montgomery spruce, named after the man who donated many of the rare conifers in this collection beginning in the 1930s. All R.H. Montgomery spruces found in gardens around the world are descended from this one tree. As we proceed up the hill, you'll see a pavilion with sweeping views of the conifers. It's a great place to relax and take in the beauty of this majestic collection. We have horticulture legend Sidney Waxman to thank for some of the dwarf conifers here at the garden. Waxman used a rifle to shoot down the cones from irregular formations called witches' brooms, collected the seeds, planted them, then selected and creatively named his favorite seedlings, such as sea urchin. It takes 30 years for these diminutive specimens to reach a height of 2 feet. We are passing the Nolan greenhouses for living collections on Side B. This facility, usually closed to the public, is where our gardeners grow plants for display in the conservatory, and in collections throughout the garden. Each of the 8 growing zones in the greenhouses has a different climate, accommodating an incredible diversity of plants.
On Side A is a grove of dawn redwoods. Once once known only from fossils and thought to be extinct, a living population of dawn redwoods was discovered in China in the early 1940s. Our trees were grown from seed collected in 1948. On side B are low conifers with curtains of green needles that cascade to the ground. These are Sargent's weeping hemlocks, a variety of our native eastern hemlock, first discovered in New York in the middle of the 19th century. Our specimens are more than a century old. Straight ahead is the Adam R. Rose and Peter R. McQuillan Horticulture Operations Center, the headquarters for the horticulture staff who care for the garden's trees and historic landscape.
We are going to stop on the bridge up ahead, overlooking another scenic section of the Bronx River. As we approach the stop, you can't miss the Lillian and Amy Goldman stone mill on side B. The Lorillard family once used this mill to create snuff, a popular alternative to smoking tobacco. Yes, the stuff that made people sneeze. Built in 1840, it is a National Historic Landmark and a New York City landmark. If you follow the path past the stone mill, you can walk beneath a tall bridge that was featured in the opening credits